It is week 13 of the NHL season, and it's officially an Olympic year. The rosters have been announced, and some countries are not happy. Some teams have shocked us with their success. A couple of teenagers are setting the league on fire, and we also found out what happens if you try and target one of them. We got a winter classic without the winter part, and to no one's surprise, everyone seems hell-bent on tearing each other apart, with the league being as competitive as it's ever been. So, let's take a look at what really happened in week 13 of the NHL season. Fire us up with the Habs and Lightning out of the gate, and let's kick it off with a knockout. Jack Guy catches Sabres clean. Down goes Frazier. We are coming out hot to start this one. Kucherov did his thing, scoring a pair. Habs were down 4-1 with 10 minutes left in this one, but they come all the way back to tie up with 4 seconds left, only to lose in a shootout. Damn shame, but at least they got the point. Then we got some shenanigans at Columbus. Mason Marchment with a sneaky knee on Matthew Schaefer. You don't touch the kid. That's rule number 1. New York has made that very clear this year, so Barzell goes right up to him and gives Marchment a nice two-hander right to the foot. 5 in a game for him. Probably getting a call from Gary, but damn it, it's worth it. That is how you protect your superstar. The Blue Jackets, though, get the last laugh, however, scoring 3 goals in the last 5 minutes for the 4-2 win. On to the Penguins and Blackhawks. Turns out this may be a toilet bowl game considering how much both of these teams have fallen right off since the beginning of the season. But Pittsburgh shows some life in this one. Justin Brazeau gets a hat trick. Penguins have only won twice in their last 10 games. They take this one 7-3, but ever since Malkin got injured, the wheels have completely fallen off in Pittsburgh. Let's go to Detroit now, where we get a magic show from Simone Edvinsson. First, he gives us his best Scott Sterling impression, blocking shots left, right, and center with his face. Then in overtime, he takes a fresh pizza from Hildeby, walks it down Main Street, and goes backhand Billy for the winner. Red Wings look legit this year, while the Leafs very much don't, even though they're still 2 points back out of a playoff spot. On the other hand, Seattle is just getting hot enough to ruin their lottery pick. They beat Philly 4-1 with their 4th straight win, which is hilarious to me. Ever since they entered the league, aside from one season, they just seem to love being in the mushy middle. Not ass enough to draft a generational player, and not good enough to be in the dance consistently. The result is me wanting to put my head through a wall while trying to watch them score goals. But hey, maybe this mini 4-game heater sparks something a lot bigger. Moving on to Monday, the Panthers continue to come alive versus Washington. Brad Marchand, 37 years of age. He scores again. That's 22 goals on the season, top 15 in scoring. The Rat doesn't age. And with all those injuries, he's helped carry the Panthers. Tkachuk is back on the ice skating. The entire team looks like they finally shook off all the celebratory boozing after winning the cup. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if they find a way to go all the way back again this year and win another cup. Of course, though, they got to be fully healthy, and they're not quite there yet, as Barkov is still out long term. Now, speaking of health, Carolina gets some bad news, as goaltender Peter Kochetkov will miss the rest of the season after having lower body surgery. Carolina's goaltending seems like it's always a mess, but they're lucky they got the bussy. He only allows 2 goals in this game against the Rangers, as Carolina wins it 3-2 in OT. He's been the answer in net for them so far this season, and luckily so. Another goalie who is not available is Linus Ullmark. He's taken a leave of absence, which means that Merilainen is the starter for now in Ottawa. That's got Sens fans sweating bullets because they lose another one to Columbus. That's 3 losses in a row now, and they sit near the bottom of the Atlantic Division. That seems like a competitive mess. It certainly doesn't help that the Buffalo Sabres look like the best damn team in the world right now. They come in and work St. Louis, out shooting them 2-1. They had 4 different goal scorers in this one. They are spreading the love in Buffalo as they win their 9th in a row. What is going on here? Their tendy, Alex Lyon, has started 7 games during Buffalo's 9-game run here, and he stopped 170 out of 185 shots for a .919 save percentage. He's been a big reason why they are absolutely humming right now. This is their longest win streak since 2018 when they won 10 in a row, but they didn't make the playoffs that year either, so there's still lots of work left. There's complete opposite vibes right now going on in Winnipeg. They're at the bottom of the barrel. They outshoot Edmonton 42-21, but Calvin Pickard stopped all but one. McDavid kept the point streak alive as well. Jets lose their 6th in a row, 1 win in their last 10. The coaching seat there may be on fire right now, which is crazy because they aren't even a year removed from being President Trophy winners. Shocker of the night, Avs win again, beating LA. They're a damn super team. All while the Preds resurgence stays is rocking here, and Stamkos is right in the middle of it. Remember what I said last week about picking this guy up in fantasy? Buddy scores 2 goals in a minute and a half. Stammer time is waking up. Preds win, and in their last 4 wins, Stamkos has gotten the game winner in all of them. The Young's trying to show he still got it. On the other hand, the Bruins are falling apart. 2-1 loss to Calgary in OT means they've lost 6 in a row. They're falling to the bottom of the Atlantic with this slide. Out west, the Canucks and Kraken go to a shootout where Liam Ogren, part of the Quinn Hughes trade, buries the shootout winner. The Canucks are in full-on tank mode, so these 2 points hurt that, while Seattle sits just outside of the final playoff spot and right into that mushy middle yet again. Meanwhile, the dominant December run continues for the Minnesota Wild. The Wild score 5 goals on 12 shots against Carter Hart, so they yank them. That was pretty much the game right there. It was all Wild in this one. Minnesota is 9-1-1 in December, and as dominant as they've looked, they are still 3rd in the division behind Dallas and Colorado. I think they're not done. They're going to come out swinging at the deadline, looking for a true number 1 center to come out of the absolute hellhole that is the Central Division. Now, finally, we go to the Sharks and Ducks, where it seems like we get another night of the Malkin Celebrini show. It just doesn't end with this kid. He gets a goal and 2 assists to move to 60 points on the season. The Sharks win 5-4 despite being outshot 42-13, and they find themselves in the last wildcard spot in the West. As much as we talk about Celebrini, I still don't think we are appreciating the season he's having as a teenager. Right now, he's on pace to hit 100 points in 65 games. The only other player to do it quicker than that is Wayne Gretzky. That is absolutely insane. The kid is special, and San Jose is lucky to have him. Now, before we hop into Tuesday's games, today's recap is brought to you by SeatGeek. It is a new year, 2026, which means that it is officially World Cup year. And if you want to go, you better start looking for tickets right now on SeatGeek, the #1 rated ticketing app with over 28 million downloads. There's more than 70,000 listed events, from sports, concerts, to festivals, and more. The way it works is simple. You browse seating on a scale of 1 to 10, look for the green, which indicates the best deals, and voila, you've got yourself the best deal on tickets. I've been using it for years now for Leaf games, Jays games, all kinds of live events, and you can do the same by using code HOCKEY2026 to get 10% off your next pair of tickets. Just hit the link in the description to download the app, and it'll automatically apply the code to your account so you're ready the next time you find a deal. So if you want a really good deal on seats as good as these, make sure you get on the app and get looking. It's 100% worth it. Once again, big thanks to SeatGeek for sponsoring these weekly recaps. Let's jump into Tuesday's games. Now let's go to Tuesday. We got the Panthers and Habs. Last game, the Canadiens almost pulled off a miraculous comeback in Tampa. This time, they look to do it again. Down 2-0 with under 5 to go. Watch Cole Caulfield here. Little toe drag to get everyone staring. Then he tells Tarasov to close his damn legs. Oh, that is pretty. Potential SeatGeek goal of the week right there. You must be hearing all the rumors that he could potentially be left off of Team USA. That goal sparks a Montreal comeback with Captain Suzuki getting the game-tying and the game-winning goal. What a comeback, and another 3-point game in the Atlantic Division. Those types of games aren't good for the Leafs trying to crawl back into the picture here. They'd have to do it without Matthews, Tanev, or Nylander. They're all hurt. The Leafs have been a damn hospital all year, but they turn in their best game of the season. 4-0 shutout from Giuseppe Wonderwall himself. He was lights out. Devils captain Nico Hischier, though, tried to get something going for New Jersey. He ends up dropping the gloves with Matty Nyes. Finds out real quick that he's a lefty. The Devils, despite seeing their captain drop the mitts, just wither away in this one. They've lost 4 in a row, all 4 games since Jack Hughes has been back too. Afterwards, Sheldon Keefe said this team has got to play with way more balls, and you know what? He's right. Meanwhile, in Pittsburgh, there was no way Sid was ending the year with an L. Penguins come out of the gate hot against Carolina. 3 goals in the first. Sid gets one himself. Penguins win 5-1, and like everyone in the East, they too are clawing for a wild card spot. Out west, the day before the Canadian roster is announced for the Olympics, Bo Horvat with one final "How are ya?" before Team Canada makes their decision. He gets the shootout winner. He's been unbelievable this season. He's reportedly right on the bubble of making this team, and even if he doesn't, he's a big reason why the Islanders are in a playoff spot going into the new year, despite expectations having them as bottom feeders. It's the same for the Flyers too, who everyone thought was going to suck, but like New York, have found themselves in a playoff spot to end 2020 25. It's Rick Tocchet's first game back at Vancouver since leaving. Flyers score 6 unanswered goals for him against the Canucks for the win. The Vancouver tank job is doing lovely right now. They've now lost 6 in a row. Moving on to Wednesday, which was New Year's Eve, we had games on all day, but before the beginning of the Rangers and Caps game, Team Canada officially announced their final roster for the Olympics. We'll throw the roster up here for you to look at, but we had a full breakdown and thoughts in our video that we released this past week, so go check that out after this one. And one of the players that was selected was our boy Tommy Wilson, and he shows why in this game. Watch this. Laba's going up the wall, and boom, Wilson lays him out, and then a few seconds later proceeds to score a goal. He had a pair in this one and an assist. This guy's a monster, and it seems like the Team Canada announcement has gone straight to his legs. Buddy was flying. The Caps win 6-3, while the Rangers have lost 3 in a row, and it seems like for them this season, they take 1 step forward and 2 steps back. On to the Preds, where the fantasy pickup of the week, Steven Stamkos, gets career goal number 600 vintage style from the left circle too. Got a feel for Stamkos a little bit too. He's got 600 career goals, and he's never played for Team Canada. Obviously, he didn't make Team Canada this year. In the past years in his prime, where he was one of the best goal scorers in the game, injuries played a huge factor in keeping him out of the Olympics, and then of course, NHL players didn't go for a decade. Tough bounce for Stamkos, but the vibes in Nashville have been a lot better as of late. They beat Vegas 4-2 and are now only 1 point back of a playoff spot. Meanwhile, we're still witnessing something special every night with Malkin Celebrini. He's showing yet again why he's the future of the league. First, he was named to Team Canada at 19 years old, and he goes out and has a 2-point night against the Minnesota Wild. He is pulling the San Jose Sharks in irrelevancy right now. They beat the Wild for the 3rd time this season. If San Jose makes the playoffs, I legitimately think that Malkin Celebrini should win the Hart Trophy. He's been that good and that important to this Sharks team. Tampa, on the other hand, is still finding ways to win games despite missing some big boys. Darren Radish, again, 2 points, including the game winner. The Lightning win their 5th in a row. They're just the team that keeps on humming. Then we got a reunion between Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews. Imagine showing this to someone back in 2012. They probably would have told you to put down the pipe, but both of these teams are going in complete opposite directions. John Gibson stays on fire here. He stops 23 shots in the win. The Jets, however, lose their 7th in a row. They are dead last, which is a far cry from their season last year. In fact, since the President's Trophy was introduced in 1986, no President's Trophy winning team has ever finished last the following season, but the way they're rolling, that may change. Now, usually a Stars versus Sabres game doesn't end too well for Buffalo, but the Sabres are a wagon right now. 9 wins in a row, and despite allowing a goal in the first 15 seconds in this one, the boys are figuring out how to put on the clamps. Tage Thompson, with one last push to make Team USA, scores 2 goals as Buffalo wins their 10th in a row and a 4-1 dub. I can't even believe what I'm seeing, but I'm happy I'm seeing it right now. Probably the most Buffalo thing ever is that they've won 10 in a row, and they're still just barely in a playoff spot. That's how bad they were before this. The Atlantic Division and the entire East is doit, but I hope, for God's sake, Buffalo finds a way to make it in. Now, one of the big reactions from the Team Canada roster was Jordan Binnington. Even though he played a huge role in helping Canada win gold at 4 Nations, he has been complete ass this season. There's no way around it. He hasn't even been the best Canadian goaltender on his own team, let alone the Avs duo of Canadian goaltenders in Mackenzie Blackwood and Scotty Wedgwood. This game was Blackwood versus Binnington, and the Avs put Binnington in a blender in the first 4.5 minutes. They score 4 goals in that time span. Yikes, that's got to make Canadian fans nauseous. Avs absolutely spank St. Louis 6-1, and they continue to be unstoppable. Over in Edmonton, McDavid is just playing with his food. Whoop, I'm over here, now I'm over here, can't touch this. It's like he's playing against a bunch of Timbits. He tops it off by sliding it over to Hyman for the empty netter. This guy is on a completely other level right now, yet the Bruins found a way to get the win. 6-2 dub snaps their 6-game losing streak. It just seems like no one in the Atlantic wants to lose. Now, for me, Calgary seems like one of those teams that just won't die. It's honestly incredible to watch despite a brutal start to the season, a lack of consistent goal scoring, and overall lack of commitment to a full-on tank job. They still find a way to win games to stay just right in the mix. Big reason why for that, of course, is the Wolfpack. Dustin Wolf, only 1 goal against in this one. Calgary drops 5 on Philly and ends the year off just 1 point back of a playoff spot themselves. So we go to Thursday. It's a new year. Could be a fresh start for some teams who are absolutely brutal, and Ottawa wants to be one of them. This is basically a must-win game for the Sens. 15th in the East, they got to make up some ground, and I love this. Bed, Batherson, and beyond. He's not known for dropping them, but he says we're going anyway to get the boys fired up. Way to set the tone there. Sens score in the final 3 minutes of the game to take a late lead and win. Essential 2 points for them. Then over to the island we go, where Dylan Guenther gets his first career hat trick. 4 different Mammoth players had 3 or more points in this one. 7-2 whooping over the New York Islanders. An insult to injury. Bo Horvat gets injured on this awkward play. He was just named to Team Canada and was reportedly one of the final roster decisions as a bubble player, so that is brutal news for him if it's serious. And if it is serious, one of the snubs in Scheifele, Bedard, or Jarvis will likely get the call. Now, speaking of hat tricks, Toronto can stop handing out all those missing milk cartons with Austin Matthews' face on it. He returns to the lineup and gets his first hattie in nearly 2 years. He looked dominant in this game. Leaf fans are wondering, where the hell has this guy been? Jets were up 4-1 in this one too, but they are so bad, like comically bad. They let the Leafs come all the way back and win it in regulation. It looks like they're already building the statue of Dennis Hildeby outside Scotiabank Library off of this save in the last minute. Look at Scheifele on the doorstep. Hildeby stretches right out to stop it with the knob of his stick. Luck boy Illinois there, but he will take it. The Jets are a disaster. 8 losses in a row, and I sense a job opening there real soon. Meanwhile, the Habs are like crack on ice. They call them the cardiac kids for a reason. Their entire core is under 25 basically and are already absolute killers. Ivan Demidov, the demigod, they call him, shaking and baking with this pass. He and the rest of the fellas were cooking. Habs win 7-5. Boys were too hungover to play defense in this one. Sebastian Aho also got 5 points for Carolina, but they still found a way to lose. On to the Penguins and Red Wings. Detroit is first in the Atlantic right now, if you can believe it. But Sid the middle-aged man says, watch this, kids. Clapper from range, and it's an absolute piss missile. Kids these days have lost the art of the slap shot. Count on Sid to teach him a few things. He'd get another as well and set up the game-winning goal in OT to Letangerain. 4-3 win. Penguins are still in the hunt, but I don't know if anyone truly believes they can find a way into the dance with this roster. If they do, it would be an MVP-like effort from Sid for it to even be possible. One team riding the struggle bus right now are the LA Kings. They're even bringing out Will Ferrell to be the ref in the front row. Even having him make a few calls in their favor still wouldn't help them win a game right now. They've now lost 8 of their last 10. It doesn't seem like a very big deal because the West is so bad, but with Seattle beating Nashville, LA has slipped out of a playoff spot. Of course, when things ain't going right, you can count on the vets to do something about it. Watch the worm here. Corey Perry, 483 years old, by the way. He doesn't care that the buzzer went. He's piss poor, sour about losing. He says, we're not going down here without a fight. He finds a way to get Yanni Gordon into a scrap at the end of the game. This guy should be looking into retirement homes in Cabo, not scrapping after 60 minutes here, but that's why he's still in the show. Kings have to do some soul searching so that they can either find a way to lose in the first round to Edmonton again or lose in the final because of, well, Corey Perry. Finally, we move to the Blackhawks and Stars. The biggest news for Chicago is that Bedard was seen skating again. That's great, but he was also snubbed from making Team Canada. Perhaps the best proof that Bedard deserved to make the squad is how unwatchable Chicago is without him in the lineup. Full-on lottery squad without Bedsy, toe dragging, releasing teams into the dust. But sometimes you just have a team's number. They find a way to beat Dallas 4-3 again after beating them last week. And despite tanking May looking like the right option for Chicago, they're still only 4 points back of a playoff spot. If they can just hang around until Bedard comes back, you just never know what can happen. On to Friday, let's jump right into the nonsense here. Back and forth game between the Golden Knights and Blues. It was all tied up at 3 until 90 seconds left. Braden Shen on the doorstep. Keep the change, you filthy animal. Greasy won for the win. Vegas has been sneaky bad here as of late, as they've only won once in their last 8 games. This season is all over the place. There's not a single team in the Pacific Division that has a positive goal differential. Just bizarre. Another Pacific team that has also fallen apart here as of late are the Anaheim Ducks. It looks like the youth is finally catching up to them as the mistakes pile up. Doesn't help that they're playing the Wild and Quinn Hughes, who are an absolute wagon right now. They lay a beatdown. 4-point night for Quinn Hughes. The Ducks have now lost 7 of their last 8. Meanwhile, I'll be taking handwritten thank you notes from Seattle fans ever since I started talking shit about their team. They're now catching fire, which is good. Nobody likes someone who's always in the mushy middle, especially Matty Beniers. Game on the line in the shootout. How about sending Thatcher Demko into the the corner on his belly with a little salsa shake. That is some pretty work right there. Seattle now sits in the wild card spot after the win. But the big game on today was the Winter Classic. Nothing says winter like having it in Miami, of course. These games used to be so damn good. If you remember the Leafs and Red Wings Winter Classic, that was the peak. Sinanovi days too were amazing, and they were always on New Year's Day as well. Not anymore though, I guess. Either way, we got a legacy game from Mika Zibanejad. Some Rangers fans call him dry hair Mika. He has a 5-point night hat trick under the bright lights. Igor had himself a game too with 37 stops. Rangers lay a beat down on the defending cup champs and take the Winter Classic 5-1 to end Friday. All right, let's get fired up here. We got 13 games on deck. Penguins and Red Wings. How about Sid to Rust upstairs? Both of those guys are on a 6-game point streak. Penguins win 4-1 and have won 4 straight. Back in a playoff spot. All of a sudden, East is a complete gong show. Lots of eyes are on New Jersey as of late, as their coach basically told the media that this team needs to grow a pair. So they lock in 4-1 win over Utah. How about that for growing a set there, Sheldon? They responded to the coach's call out. We were also so close to going 3 full weeks without a Sabres loss, but all good things must come to an end. 4-1 game, 8 minutes left. Lindy Ruff says, F it, I'm pulling the 10 to keep the streak alive, and it fails miserably. 5-1 loss. Sabres heater ends at 10 games, and it ends with them barely in a playoff spot too. Then over in Edmonton, already down 2-0. Knock, knock. Who's there? Edmonton's favorite pizza delivery man, Evan Bouchard. His stretch pass is picked right off. It ends up in Edmonton's net, of course. Nurse tries to spark the fellas by dropping the mitts with Hathaway, but the Flyers ain't having it. They hang on for the 5-2 win. It's still surprising to me to see how good they are this year based on all the expectations from last season. Now, there's also been a ton of noise around Jordan Binnington with all the Olympic rosters being announced and him getting lit up like a Christmas tree a few days ago. But we got big game Binner here against Montreal. 25 saves and a shutout dub. Watch how this guy locks in as we get closer to the Olympics. Let's go to the Sharks and Lightning where things are getting spicy. Full-on Gen Z line scrum here. Everyone grabs a guy, wrestles him, maybe a couple punches thrown, but this one was a wild one right from the start. We had dueling hat tricks from 2 guys you'd never expect. Darren Radish, no, not the same thing you put on steak. The breakout D-man who's having an absolute banger of a year right now for Tampa. He gets a hattie in. San Jose gets one from Pavel Regenta. The AHL call-up. Congrats, kid. You earned yourself at least another game in the show. Guys were barking at each other all night, too. Tempers were flaring, but Tampa stomps the Sharks 7-3 and lost in all the noise as a Kucherov 5-point performance. Then we got a retro Whalers versus Nordiques matchup. Not even a 3-1 lead at home in the third period is enough to stop the damn Avs. They score 3 quick goals, including 2 by the Olympian Dwayne the Brock Nelson. Avs take the lead and never look back to win yet another game. Bad news for this one for the Avalanche and Canada was that Devon Toews went down with an injury. I don't know what's going on, but it seems like guys named to the Olympics were dropping like flies tonight. Watch here as Tom Wilson goes down awkwardly onto his knee. That is no bueno at all. That's bad for Team Canada and also the Caps, as he's been their best forward all year long. This would end up going to a shootout though, where Nicholas Pickles Foligno gets the winner. Chicago wins their second in a row to stay hot until Bedard comes back. We also got some more spice over in Calgary too. Look at McCarron throwing so many rights. They're begging for a left here. Stripes is falling over trying to break this all up. Lomberg and Smith go at it for almost a full minute later as well. Hockey's just so much better when everyone hates each other. This was a damn good game too between 2 teams who were basically toilet bowl champs earlier in the year but are all of a sudden in the mix. We go to 27 seconds left. Nick Hague must have been playing GoldenEye on the N64 for years. He activates clappers only and he wires one home. Preds get a huge 2 points and steal one against the Flames. On to the island we go where the Leafs are in town. Everyone was asking, is Austin Matthews back? Well, how about this? He drives wide, gets that big caboose to the net, and buries. There's the 69 goal scoring son of a gun we all know. That ties Matt Sundin for the all-time goals record, and he says, I'm not finished there. One-timer for his second of the night. That passes Sundin for the all-time Leaf goal record with 421. He's full-on John Wick right now, thinking he's back. But there's always a younger buck, Matthew Schaefer. 18 years old. This guy was born when Ovi was on the cover of NHL 07. He scores almost an identical goal to Matthews and then follows it up with the OT winner. This kid should be going to Italy sipping espressos and representing Team Canada. He single-handedly turned the Islanders franchise around as they sit second in the Metro. Meanwhile, Brady Tkachuk gets a little karma. We call it Karma Electra here. He starts this whole encounter with Logan Stanley. Stanley says, screw it, right hook, sit down, fella. Brady was pissed, thinking it was a sucker punch. could have a point, but the real joke here is just the Jets. Sens win 4-2, which means Winnipeg has lost 9 in a row. The season seems completely lost at this point. In the late games, the Kings end their schneid with a 5-4 shootout win, while the Bruins and Canucks battle it out for the toilet bowl. Which team hurts their chances more for the potential tank job? Turns out it's Boston with the OT winner. Although in the Atlantic, all it takes is one hot week and you're at the top of the division. As for Calgary, they stink, but they're doing the tank job right, so keep doing what you're doing. So, what did you think of Week 13 of the NHL season? Who pissed you off? Who surprised you? Let us know in the comments down below. If you want to check out our thoughts and breakdowns on the Olympic rosters this past week, click on any of the videos here. And as always, if you want more NHL content, turn on notifications and subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss a single thing.